Hi, friends. This is Angela, Wild Violets Art. Thank you so much for joining me this afternoon or this evening. Today, I'm going to play with really lovely, sophisticated sled bundle. Now, this is an online exclusive item, which means you won't find it in any catalog. And all you need to do is type in sophisticated sled or even just the word sled and it should show up. But you can also just click on the online exclusive when you go to the Stampin' Up website and you'll find all kinds of goodies that aren't necessarily in the catalog. Now, as you know, we're all getting used to shopping on Amazon, and Stampin' Up doesn't plan on getting rid of catalogs, but they have increased their online only presence, which I think it's a good thing. It's a little confusing at times when we're so used to relying on the catalog and relying on shipping items that maybe are unavailable at the moment. They're waiting for more quantity or whatever. But I think that we're getting, in a way, we're spoiled with Amazon, but also if something's not available anywhere, it's just not there. And that's kind of how, um, you know, I think online purchasing is happening. You won't find the size that you want, you won't find the color that you want. You just have to shop from what's available. So I don't want to discourage you, but I think that there's some changes coming, and I just want you to work through them as best you can. But I'll help you. So let me know if there's anything I can help you with. And we do have a new catalog that's coming out. I have sent out all of my catalogs to those that have ordered from me in the last year. And so if you think that I've missed you or you didn't get yours by the end of the month, please let me know. Or sorry, by the end of September, let me know. You should be getting it by the end of the month. So if you don't have it by, let's say, the first week in September, let me know and I'll send you another one. Okay, so let's get to the fun part. All right, so this is the sophisticated sled bundle, and as you can tell, it's got some great Christmas greetings, really beautiful stamp sets. I love the little snowflake, the little cardinal, and along with that, they have some really wonderful dies. Now, I just love, now, not everybody is like me, but I love assembling different colored items that don't need stamping. For whatever reason, I think it's really fun. And this bundle has a really great sled and ice skate available, and it just makes for a really beautiful card. So we'll play a little bit with that here in just a moment. Okay, so the first one we're going to make is going to be using let me just get my reminder. We're going to be using the Winter Meadow Designer Series paper. So as you can tell from the background, this is from last year's catalog, and Stampin' Up! Has continued to make it available. Okay, so what I've done is I have cut out sled pieces. Let me just get some of these extra pieces out of it. And as you can tell, this is what you would typically put your feet on. So let me just show you up close so you can see the wood grain in it. It's just wonderful. I love it. It's just such a cool die. And then I have cut a couple of skates, and I have cut these are going to go with the little skate, and it's the shoelaces or the ties that would be needed for that. Okay, so real quick, what I need to do is I need to die cut out the rest of the sled tread. And we're going to use this die to do that. So I'm using the silver foil. And this is just 1 3/4 inch piece. And I'm going to go ahead and die cut out another pair of skates because I'll need it for another project. And I love that this bundle fits within the little, the mini die cut emboss machine. Some extra foil here I'll just save for another project. This aside. Okay. So you can see how pretty the sled piece is with that die. Now, if you're wondering what I'm using for the little bow, I am actually using, I don't know if you recall, but there was a part of the online exclusive that happened this summer. There was this berry burst, old olive, and white glimmer specialty paper. And I'm using the white glimmer paper. Isn't that pretty for that little bow? Isn't it gorgeous? Okay, so I've already cut that out. So now we're going to do a little bit of assembly. That's the next project. Okay. So what I've used is I've used my A2 card, which is the thick cardstock, scored, cut at, excuse me, 8.5, excuse me, by 5.5, and scored at 4.25. And then I have a 4 1/8 by 5 3/8 piece of Night of Navy. So I'm going to glue that onto my card base and wiggle it around so that all my edges are the same. And then I have a piece of this Winter Meadow designer series paper, 12 by 12. So I love that they continued designer series paper. We've been asking Stampin' Up! To do that for a long time because it's just such beautiful paper, and sometimes it's just so hard when it goes so fast and then you don't have it for the next year. But them repeating the same one again, this is available online only, and it's called the Winter Meadow designer series paper. Okay, so let me get my little, so I put, even though this has a really thin little piece on the end, I'm going to want to use something even smaller to make sure that I can stay within the lines. But you can also, I'll just get a couple more little pieces out. You can also use Stampin' Dimensionals to get it to stay within your guidelines. So this, I can easily just turn it over, line it up, and then I can use my dimensionals because I'm going to pop this up anyway, and I can have it hold on to the sled this way and just make sure that my pieces don't overlap. So you can see how nicely that worked out. And then this piece right here goes here. And actually, looks like I didn't pop something out. So there would be what would be little grommets. Or nail holes. And it allows the silver foil to shine through. So hopefully you can see that. So you can see these little places. It's probably hard to see online, but you can see that the silver foil pops through and it looks like little nails holding it together. So, okay. All right, and so this one goes across this bar here. So I'm going to use smaller dimensionals for this one. There we go. It's just such a pretty, and it's an unusual color, the navy blue, but I just thought it was really pretty with this background because I just love this mountain scene here. Okay, so now we've got the little skates. So the little skates have these ties or shoestrings. And I'm not sure if you can see, but there is one little slit here, and you're going to just press that in, and you just press it in as far as you need to get it so that the threads, all these ties, line up with this side. Let me just show you again. Let me get rid of all the little dots here. Got my handy little vacuum. Okay. So I've got, there's a slit that comes with the die, and you want to press the shoestring die piece in here until the shoestrings line up with the boot. Okay. And then from that side, you can add a dimensional, and it's not going to move. It's going to just stay right in place. Okay, so then I'm going to, and we need to assemble them with their little skates. So I've done the skates also in the silver foil. Okay. So these I'm going to need to glue on. And this is where it's nice if you have a little, because my fingers are fat, and if you've got something like this, just a little pair of beautiful. And then I'll just do that again. So you can either add the glue to the back, or if you kind of know where it's supposed to go, you can just add it to the bottom of the skate. Okay. So the next thing, I'm going to want is obviously putting on this little bow of sparkly white. So pretty. And you can do it in different places, wherever you want. You can do it like partway down. But I need some sort of a string that holds these up. Now, I don't ever use my gray. I don't know if you do or not. But this is my baker's twine. And I never use the gray. I use white 90% of the time. But when you've got an off color, you can use a piece of scrap and you can color it. So I'm using my blend, my dark, whoops, this is blueberry bushel, wrong color. I need my navy blue. There we go. Night of Navy. Okay, so I'm going to use my Night of Navy blend, and this is the gray ink, and I'm just going to run it along. It's giving me a hard time. And you may need to do it a couple times. Colored. So this is my gray baker's twine, and I'm using the Night of Navy blend, and I need it to be Night of Navy instead of gray. So it matches the shoestrings here. Okay. So I'm just going to add the baker's twine to the back of the dimensional, and I'm going to just create a little bow. And then I'm adding a glue dot to this so I can stabilize it. And I'm adding 2 glue dots because that seems to help things to stabilize. And I'm adding it here. And then I've got a glue dot for my little bow. And now I have another tail to my Okay, so I'm going to bring this up closer so you can kind of see. I just did a little bow, and I should have done that first before I added it. But it just adds a little bow on my sled, and it's holding up the 2 skates. Okay, so now I can take away all the backs to the dimensionals now that I'm done with assembling it. And I'm just going to place it right here. Okay, so now I need a little sentiment, and I like the Let It Snow, and I'm going to use the smallest tag from Greetings of the Season. This is from the Season of Green and Gold Suite collection, and I love all these tags. I did a Facebook Live a month ago, a little month and a half ago, that had a bunch of tags made out of this with the Green and Gold Suite collection. Okay, so I need some white cardstock. Just a small piece. And I'm going to use the Let It Snow. I need my Night of Navy stamp pad. Got all these extras you don't need all over the place. Put this away so I don't lose them. Okay, so I just need my little trusty Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. All right. Now, because I've already tied this, I'm going to just add this little tag underneath my bow and just pop it up to the top, okay? So all I need is another big dimensional. I'm just going to pretend like, oops, this probably needs to be further away. Use another dimensional. So I probably should put it here so I know where I need it. And then I'm just going to add another glue dot because my little bow tie doesn't want to stay. Okay, so there's my card. Maybe some embellishments would be good. Let's see what we have for something pretty that kind of goes with the silver and gold. And I'm thinking the iridescent pearls would be pretty. Here we go. Yeah, pretty. Okay, so that's the first card. I'll leave that there so you can see it. All right, so the next one we're going to do is I used a little bit of 2 of the DSPs from the Winter Meadow. So you probably remember these. But for the boughs, I cut out a bunch of them, and 2 of them have a little bit of the berry in them, and 4 of them are just from this. So it just kind of gives you a really nice mix of the colors. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to overlap these. So it makes a nice big wreath. So about 3 of them make for a nice wreath, don't you think? Okay, so let me just turn these over and add a small dimensional, kind of hold it in place. And do one more. And then I need the other colors to be added too. So I want this one here. So it just looks like a nice full wreath, and I just want to stagger it a little bit so that it doesn't look like it's been repeated. So I need to turn this back over again. And you'll see that it's a slightly different color. So I need to make sure that I capture some of that green next to the blue so it holds it in place. So dimensionals are great for holding things in place. You don't have to add a bunch of little glue dots. And for this one, I guess I should explain to you what I've got here going on for the background. This is so it's called Wood Texture 12 by 12 Designer Series paper. And if you can take a look at this, it has just a really subtle grain of wood to it. And I'm using that as my background over a piece of the meadow. So it's the other side of this one with the little berries in it. Isn't that pretty? Just really gorgeous colors. Okay, so this one I'm doing the full piece. And if you look at the wood grain paper compared to our basic white, you can see that it's slightly different. So for that reason, I'm using something that kind of hides the two whites next to each other. So let's just glue this onto the front. And this is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. So it's going to cover the whole front of the card. And I'm going to pop up this layer. This is the wood grain white, the wood texture 12 by 12. I need to say it correctly. I think for holding up a card front, you need at least 8 large dimensionals. At least that's what I do. Okay, so all my dimensionals are off the back. So I've made a really nice, I'm going to make sure the top 3 sides are the same dimension. Okay, so I need a scrap of basic white. And I'm going to need it for a couple things. So I want to do this cardinal. And I think that we're going to use good tidings. So I just need a little scrap. And I have just an extra label that I've cut out for the good tidings sentiment. I think that that'll work out great. And then I've got my little cardinal here. Okay. So let me just grab a couple of my blocks. And because this designer series paper is the Lost Lagoon, I'm going to use that for my sentiment. And I think I'm going to use it for my cardinal as well. And then I'm going to use, let's see, I've got a little piece of this silver edged gossamer ribbon. So let's just make a little bow. If you're wondering how I'm doing my bow, I've got a video. If you go to my YouTube channel, Wild Violet's Art, and you look up bows, 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 you'll see a nice video that shows how I do all my bows. And I just kind of manipulate it, making it smaller and bigger until it's about the size that I like. Okay, so this little guy, I'm going to add a little bit of um, a little bit of berry burst, but I'm trying to find it. Finding petunia pop, red heather. Oh, here we go. Here's my berry burst. I think it's really close to that color there. Then I'll just need a little orange. I'm going to use the Calypso Coral for the beak. Okay, and then we have a little die that will cut this guy out. And this is a little Post-it note sticky that will okay. So let me just make this bow a little bit more even. And I'm going to add it to my wreath. Now when I add a bow to something, I typically will add a glue dot on both sides of the bow. So you can't really see it very well, but I'll add it to one side and the other side. That way it stabilizes it, it helps it stay in place. And then I'm going to add a couple of dimensionals on the back of this. Little tag. And I'm just going to pop it underneath here so that it overlaps a little bit. And then I'm going to use some small dimensionals for my cardinal. Now he's not red like normally, but I think that's okay. And now we need an embellishment. So I'm thinking that the blooming pearls in this color right here, which is the Lost Lagoon, kind of a Lost Lagoon, pretty peacock color. There. Pretty Christmas card. All right, so there's two of them. All right, let me put this bird away before I lose him. Okay, so now for the last card. So this one is, again, done on the basic A2 card. I have a layer of the red, or this is real red cardstock, and it's at 4 1/8 by 5 3/8. So let's glue that on. And And then I have this white wood texture cardstock again, and I'm just going to actually glue it on this time. This is a little bit of a simpler card, but as far as color combinations, we're just using the white and the red, and I think sometimes that is just so pretty. Okay, so before we assemble this, let's get rid of some of these little extra pieces. Get rid of all the little grommet holes or whatever it is that they have their little, you can see all of them through the paper. So you can see there's lots of them. So we'll leave that out. And we'll do like we did before, and we'll just center it, turn it upside down, and then add dimensionals to hold it in place. So I probably don't need as many as I did last time. Now add this one. So this was cut out from the silver foil, and this goes like so. As you remember, if you ever used one of these, you used your feet to steer and your little sled. And this one needs the smaller dimensional. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and glue this down. I think I'm going to add a sentiment down below, across here. Okay, so clean up these little laces and just show you how I did that again. So here's the little lace, and here's the slit, and the laces just go under the slit until the laces line up with the front of the boot. Okay, and then I'm going to add a dimensional on the back of this to secure it. And I'll do it again. Another dimensional to secure it. Okay. I'm just going to add it like so to the front. Oops, we need to add the silver skates. And just adding a little bit of glue along the skate track. Okay, so as you know, we don't have any real red cord. So I did the same thing again, and I used the very vanilla, because again, I don't use it very much. And I'm using my Real Red blend. And I just need to make it a little bit longer so I have room. So I'm just gonna and like I said, you need to do it probably about 3 times to make sure you get all the part colored that you want. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and tie my bow first. My little bow to be about this big. And I'm going to add some glue dots to this. So I need at least 2 of them to make sure that it's stable to the back so that I can adhere it to the sled runner. And then I need a glue dot for my little bow. And I'm going to place it in the middle. And then I'm going to just add my little skates. Front. And I didn't make sure that the string matched up. There we go. So now I can just cut it off. I'm going to add just a little extra something. I'm just cutting off the extra of the red string. Okay, so I'm going to add a little something to the bow. So I don't know if you remember these, but these are pearlized enamel effects. And I'm just going to add some berries to my bow. Just a little extra something something. So it'll need to dry before I do too much more to it. Okay, and now to pick a sentiment for this one. So this one, I hope your days are filled with fun and laughter. And I need my Real Red stamp pad. So So I just need this to be a little bit smaller, and this is 1 inch, so I'll cut this down so it's a little bit less than that. Sure, it's 3/4 of an inch. And I think I'll pop it up. Right, so we just need some red. And I don't know that we have any red. Rhinestones. Rhinestones will work just great. And it'll look really nice with the silver. Oh, there's our 3 cards for this evening. Thank you so much for joining me and putting these together. And I hope that you give this a little try. I think there's all kinds of options that you can do. There's a lot more stamping than I did today, but just 3 really beautiful cards. All right. Have a great day or great evening, and I'll talk to you on Friday.